Manolo. What is it?
Така, колеги, ще започнем презентацията на английски. We'll start the presentation of Dr. Manola Souvanlasy, who will tell us about the
Chronic inflammation is on the board.
Chronic inflammation and autoimmune disease, the bridge between Chinese and Western medicine.
Hello everybody, I'm very glad to be here with you. But before beginning my presentation, let me introduce myself a little bit. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Cueva Solan, but she's not there, who introduced me to ICMART and she introduced me to Dr. Iliev, and Dr. Iliev invited me for the 13th ICMART conference today. It's a very great pleasure and honor to be there with you today. Before beginning, let me introduce myself shortly. I'm a French MD, graduate from Pierre et Marie Curie University in 1984. I'm French MD, but I'm coming from Laos, the landlocked country in the center of Indochina. Many people doesn't know Laos. That's why let me introduce my country a little bit, because my story leads me here in front of you today. So Laos is the country located in the center of Indochina, and Laos is a member of the Asian countries. In the past, Laos was named the Kingdom of the Million Elephant and the White Parasol. When communism took over my country in 1975, my family and I escaped from our motherland, and we asked for political asylum in France, which became my adoptive land. At that time, it was mandatory to take exams for the first year of medical studies to become a French MD. But I began to study medicine 3 years before in Laos. And then when I arrived in Paris, I had to do all my study again to become a certified French MD. But in 1986, a devastating and tragic event occurred in my life. My mother, Dr. Maniso, who was the first Lao woman graduate from French University, died from a metastatic pancreatic cancer within 6 months. And from that time, trust and faith in Western medicine began to collapse for me. I began to question myself. Why did my mother die? Why scientific medicine could not save her life? My mother is my icon. Her life and death inspired my medical journey until I found that there is a possible bridge between the Western medicine and the science and the Chinese medicine, which is philosophy. It is a great, great challenge for me to share humbly my researches, my insight, and my clinical experience about integrative medicine upon this bridge with you today. Thank you, Dr. Ile, for welcoming me today. Let's start the presentation now. So in November 2015, I published my second book, but the title is in French because my book has been written in French. I'm looking for an English publisher. If somebody is interested in helping me, you are welcome. So my book, the title is Immune Disorders and Autoimmune Diseases, Integrative Clinical Experience. Why this book? Why? All my life I am questioning myself, why and why? That's why I'm doing research. So why this book? During 32 years of practicing Chinese and Western medicine in a modern country like France, I noted that more and more patients suffer from invalidating chronic illnesses, even when they have too much to eat, when they are treated with the best drugs, when they have the best doctors in the world, by medical technology at the leading edge of scientific research. They have comfortable homes, they can access to high education and benefit from good medical care, good job, earn more money, enjoy holidays. But in spite of all that, they are not happy, and worse, they are not healthy. Why? The answers, I think, lies in the question itself. Is illness the consequence of excess? Excess due to the modern lifestyle? The cult of modernity comes up with a high price, which is stress, the faceless and controllable enemy lurking from the inside. Autoimmune diseases are, according to me, related to the modern civilization. Stress is the invisible enemy which threatens the territorial integrity of ourselves from inside. Invaders are emotional, energetic, metabolic, nutritional imbalances, or worse, overconsumption of chemical drugs supposedly protecting us from illness. The price to pay is the pace for modern civilization, is exhaustion and chronic inflammation due to stress, which open the door for emerging autoimmune diseases, such as hyperthyroidism, Basdo disease, hypothyroidism, Hashimoto disease, Crohn disease, hemorrhagic rectocolitis, rheumatoid arthritis, immune disorders related to Lyme disease, Parkinson, Alzheimer, multiple sclerosis, and even cancer. I think that everyone here has met in their patient with this disease. So chronic inflammation, what is it all about? I think that chronic inflammation is the deeper root of autoimmune diseases, and there is 6 causes. Stress of modern life, because in the Western developed country where it is a competition. I mean, the society is very competitive. There is a lot of pressure inside the profession. The demanding of family life are the source of energy exhaustion, especially if it is worsened by bad dietary habits. I will focus on that point because it is the way you can avoid chronic inflammation. And we're always running after time and after money. Junk food, too much sugar. I will call the sugar the addictive silent killer. Saturated food, fatty acid, dietary products, red meat, and especially no mastication, shortage of time for proper cooking, eating ready-made food impoverished of micronutrients, which are essentials for our healthy cells. You should show your food like the cow on the image to stay healthy. And poor digestion, which increase accumulation of toxic waste in the digestive tract and worsen the breaches of the intestinal barrier, fostering invasion of our territorial immunity, integrity to autoimmune antibodies. And I forget that our modern diet is poor with foods and fiber and vegetables. And the last point is that no medication, poor digestion of food can lead up with accumulation of toxic waste in small intestine and lead up with leaky gut syndrome. I put a very large focus on that point because for me, it means that we can avoid and prevent autoimmune disease with digestion and good mastication and good habit, the dietary habit. And the liver, toxic overload, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that the detoxification enzymes are weakened because of virus, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, we were talking about with Dr. David this morning, toxic waste, alcohol. I think that alcohol is a societal drugs admitted by all here. Okay, I mean, not here, but in the modern society. and drugs, which we are supposed to protect us, but in the long run, they have a harmful side effect. And depletion of antioxidant, I will focus on that issues too later on my presentation. And antioxidants are vitamin, oligoelement, which are stored inside the mitochondria. How is the mitochondria working? The mitochondria transform energy fuels from food, which are glucose, fatty acid, amino acid, into energy in the form of ATP. I think that everybody here knows about ATP. It is the form of energy which can distribute it to every cell of our body. So, how could Chinese medicine complement the Western medicine for chronic, inflammatory, modern diseases then? People in Western developed countries can benefit from an efficient health system, highly qualified doctors. They should not be sick. But why are they sick? I dedicated my life and carry responsibilities in healing people and improve their life, as my mother did in the past. So I asked myself, is there any complementary medicine which can help finding long-lasting solution for patients who suffer so heavily from these invalidating diseases? Yes, I think that Chinese medicine can offer prevention and balance and harm, because Chinese medicine can repair the ecosystem, the terrain of autoimmune diseases, which is imbalance of energy, nutrition, emotion induced by stress. And prevention can decrease consumption of medical drugs, less medication, less side effect in the long run. For example, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which give stomach ulcers, painkillers, which are toxic for the liver, corticoid, which give glaucoma, tendons rupture. I think that most of you can meet all these side effects here. Immunosuppressors weaken immunity, and I think that prevention is better than cure, and of course less expensive too. So it is possible to bring a bridge between Chinese and Western medicine. Of course we can, like President Obama said. A bridge is possible between energy of the 5 internal organs, which are the kidney, the liver, the heart, the spleen, and the lungs in Chinese medicine, and the nutrition of the cells in Western medicine. Synergy and complementarity, the merging of these two medicines will become in the future a health as well as economic issues. Prevention is less expensive than medical drugs treatment, I think. In the history, doctors always learn from the past to build up the future. I have the same goal, save life and improve people's life. So that puts our hands together. Let's cooperate wisely. Here is the bridge Alexander III in Paris, and here is the bridge, Friendship Bridge in my country, Vientiane, Laos. So, what are the most significant symptoms for chronic inflammation? This is the vicious cycle, the price to pay for stress. These are unusual tidiness, energy exhaustion close to burnout. I love this expression burnout, because our life is like a candle, and when we are stressed, our candle of life is burning from both ends. and stress is burning our candle. Depression, insomnia, migraine, lower natural immune defense, and joint pain and muscular cramps prevailing during the night. These are characteristic of inflammatory pain. Digestive symptoms, which are specific because they are fluctuating according to the level of emotional stress, like alternation of diarrhea and constipation, abdominal distension and tiredness after meals, acid reflux, chronic digestive candida, gum inflammation with painful mouth ulcers, unusual skin problems as eczema and psoriasis, because the skin is the mirror of what is going wrong inside us. Unusual overweight with compulsive appetite. And more frustrating, the women get put on weight when they eat less and when they lose appetite. So, your body is like a country. What does it need for building an effective immune defense system? First, energy. 2, borders, external and internal boundaries. Third, resources, nutrition. 4, soldiers, well-trained soldiers. 5, free flow of energy. 6, toxins drainage and elimination. And 4, the most important of all is leadership of the mind and of the spirit. The mind can be the cause of disease, but it can also become your best healer. So immunity is a physiological war protecting us, protecting our body against invaders coming from outside and from inside. In Chinese medicine, the immune system depends on the 5 organs' energy. Invaders are the 6 pathogenic energy that you all know here. They are wind, cold, dampness, heat, scorching summer heat, and drought. In Western medicine, the immune system is biological, biochemical, molecular, depending on the cell's energy. And invaders can be bacteria, viruses, environmental toxins like pollution and heavy metals, chemical toxins, and food allergens. In Chinese medicine, there is 3 main immune defense energy, which are yuan qi, ancestral energy come from the kidney, wei qi, defensive energy come from the lungs, and yin qi, the nutritive qi coming from the spleen. So yuan qi, the ancestral qi, is produced by the kidney. Yuan qi comes from the kidney, which are the foundation of life, the candles, the cauldron containing at the same time water and fire, yin and yang, which is the storage of the innate vital energy jing. Yuan qi governs the natural innate capacity to resist invasion from the external pathogenic kinetic energy. Yuan qi optimizes the energy work of the whole 5 organ system. Yuan qi is transporting qi and blood inside the 12 main meridians which emerge in their yuan points. And it can be compared with the natural immune disorders, with the natural immune resistance to infections, which is given to us at birth. It is similar to the genetic aspect of immunity encoded in your chromosome, in your DNA. So wei qi, circulate with the lung qi, as you know. Lungs are the shield because their energy makes circulate the wei qi, the protective qi, on the superficial level of the body, like the skin, the pore skin, the skin hair, which are the external layers of defense. And wei qi, what does it do? The wei qi regulates the body temperature through perspiration. In case of fever, When she opened the pores and perspiration lowered the body temperature. In case of cold invasion, when she warms the body and closes the skin pore. In case of wind invasion, when she stimulates the skin hair shivering, which oppose resistance to the wind. Nutritive qi is produced by spleen. Spleen transforms food into nutrients and into yin qi, the nutritive qi. Then they will be stored inside the reservoir of vital essence acquired after birth, the acquired gene. Her work is similar to enzymatic digestion in Western medicine. Spleen is like the peasant who is plowing the earth, who is growing paddy rice, who is harvesting the rice, and will transport the nutrients into every corner of your body. Her work is similar to intestinal absorption in Western medicine. So in conclusion, the sources of production of these three main immune energies are the 5 organs. According to the engendering cycle Shan, the circle, according to the domination circle curve, and the 5 organs are producing the 3 immune qi, blood, body fluids, and vital essence gene. So according to Western medicine, we have done the Chinese border of the bridge. Then now I will talk about the Western border. In the Western medicines, where does the energy of the cells come from? The energy comes from oxidation of carbohydrates, proteins, fatty acids, which are molecules of life brought by your food. Stress and overwork increase the energetic needs for the cells. Oxidation is a chemical reaction which breaks down bonds between atoms in presence of oxygen. Oxidation will produce vital energy for the cells. This biochemical energy will be distributed to every cell of your body as ATP. But each oxidation will reject single electrons, very unstable, called free radicals, or reactive oxygen species. These free electrons are genuine flash of fire, very destructive for cell's DNA. And we find free radicals everywhere around us, with ultraviolet lights, with pollution, with the toxic waste, with inflammation, with wrong metabolism, with smoking. Our planet is all oxidized. You know, there is a lot of energy coming out. There is war, there is competition for power, for fuel power, and we are living in an oxidized planet, and the global warming of the planet is an oxidized planet where we live. That's why we fall sick. I think that we are not falling sick only because we have bad dietary, but we are living in a toxic environment. So that's why the free radicals are destroying our DNA from the inside. That's why stress for me is the internal enemy, the invisible enemy, which is destroying our life in our cellular levels. So I will talk a little bit about free radicals, because but it is the bridge between the energy of the 5 organs and the bridge and the energy of the cells. So it is very important to talk about free radicals now. And free radicals are also called reactive oxygen species, which are harmful for the cell's energetic balance. Why? LEO is acronym for LEO. It means loss of electron, means oxidation. And when your cells are oxidized, what happens? They produce energy, of course, because energy is needed for your cells. But they produce also ROS, and ROS are harmful for your cells. there is both sides, yin and yang, both sides of the same coin, you know, and the mitochondria is the little primitive bacteria who will convert the free radicals into energy, which is ATP. So what happened? As I said before, oxidation is yang in nature. It breaks chemical bonds to release energy, that is transformation of matter into energy, right? And reduction is yin in nature. It puts energy in hold in the form of stable chemical bonds between molecules. Energy is converted into matter. But in every cell live mitochondria, the tiny primitive bacteria that we inherit from other mother chromosome. They are similar to microscopic nuclear power plants at the cellular level. They contain a chain of reduction enzymes which will recycle the reactive oxygen species into a more stable, refreshing form of energy, which once again is ATP. These cooling systems for ROS needs enzymes, which are energetic engines, and Ki, which are antioxidant. And a nuclear power plant produce a lot of energy. It needs a water tank to refresh the overheated engines, avoiding explosion. What happens when the body demands more energy than it can produce? Of course, it is overload, breakdown, burn out, which is stress. Gear means gain of electron and reduction. You see the little baby here, the baby lion, is more peaceful than the roaring lions, full of energy but full of heat. And the little baby lion is more peaceful and stable. And the free radicals are refreshed inside the little lion here. So what does the mitochondria need to recycle the free electrons is the next question. Oxidoreduction enzymes are a chain of enzymes located in the inner membrane of mitochondria. Enzymes are nutrients. Enzymes need nutrients, which are necessary for optimizing the cell's energy production. First, they are the key of the engines. The key nutrients are called antioxidants because they prevent mitochondria from natural oxidation. When energy demand increases so much because of stress, mitochondria will be under oxidative stress, meaning that they are lacking of antioxidants. Natural antioxidants are found in food, or they can be supplemented by micronutrition. What are antioxidants? Vitamins, as you know, can be brought by food, but there is a lot of vitamins. All the alphabet is coming out here. A, B, C, D, E. And oligo element, which are magnesium, the most important oligo element for the chain for the reduction oxidation enzymes are magnesium, selenium, copper, manganese, Q10, and lipoic acid, and also the nutriment inside the vegetables contain a lot of antioxidant, natural antioxidant. So, what is oxidative stress? This is the main cause for chronic inflammation inside your cells. The cause of oxidative stress, as we mentioned, is lack of good nutrition first. Fast food, McDonald's, stress, air and water pollution, medication abuse and treatment, bad dietary habit, smoking, alcohol, pesticide, exposure to toxin, inadequate intake of fruits and vegetables, contaminant, excessive exercise food can be oxidized. You know, the great athletes, they are oxidized because they are doing too much physical effort. And inadequate amount of physical activity can also be oxidative. Just about everything we do in oxidation. And the most important things to remember is that oxidative stress is one of the roots of chronic inflammation inside your cells. So we mentioned energy first. Then now we are going back to the borders. And the external borders, about the external body boundaries, external defense layers depends on the lungs. Lungs are regarded as the prime minister, the master of qi and breathing. Lungs are the immune shield on the external layers of the defense, which are skin, the pore of the skin, and the skin hair. And lungs and wei qi work together for regulating body temperature through perspiration, as you mentioned on the previous slide. But most importantly, the lungs' mucous membranes are dotted with pulmonary mucosa-associated lymphoid tissues, which contains a lot of soldiers, which are the B and T lymphocytes, which will kill bacteria, viruses, environmental toxins like pesticide, pollution, and heavy metals invading our body. Nose, ear, throat, mucous membranes are the lungs, as you know, opening sensory organs. So, the spleen and digestion. The stomach receives the food, spleen transforms them into nutritive essence, which are nutrients. They transform into blood, body fluids, and yin qi, the nutritive qi, which are the four substances. These four substances will be transported and distributed to the whole body. Transformation of food into nutrients is similar to enzymatic digestion. Transportation of the nutritive essence is similar to intestinal absorption. In Western medicines, enzymes are like energetic engines, which break down large food molecules into small, tiny molecules of nutrients. So I would insist particularly in the intestinal barrier, because intestinal barrier has a key role in immunity because of its selective permeability and because it plays a leading role in absorption of nutrients. So what are the intestinal barrier? Intestinal barrier contains the intestinal mucosa, which is the inner border between the territorial integrity of your body and the outside world. These are the shield from inside. They contain enterocytes, which are clipped by tight junctions, and the entire absorption surface of the intestinal lining goes from 300 to 400 square meters, and the enterocytes are fast-growing cells. Their renewal rate is every week. Tight junctions are strong protein bonds which are clipping enterocytes to each other. Tight junction, and there are the intestinal lining also contains cells which secreting mucus, which is protecting the intestinal lining from being damaged by hypochlorhydric acid, digestive enzymes, and bacteria. Cells M are intestinal cells specialized in antigen identification and presenting to plasmocytes, which will secrete antibodies. Plasmocytes are lymphocyte B, specialized in secreting antibodies, especially immunoglobulin M. Mucosa is dotted by lymphocyte B and T, NKC, natural killer cells, macrophages, which belong to the intestinal mucosa-associated lymphoid tissues, acting like the guardian of the intestinal border safety. So there is a connection here. Between the spleen and the lungs. because they contain the same guardian of the border, which are the lymphoid tissues containing lymphocyte B and lymphocyte T. So, and most importantly, there is intestinal flora, which plays an essential role in processing food waste to lessen. It is the way to lessen the toxin accumulation in the digestive tract. There is. So I will summarize the relationship between the yin qi, the nutritive energy, and the defensive energy, wei qi, in immunity. Spleen produce yin qi, the internal border. Invaders from inside can come through the internal border. For example, the food allergens, we can give food intolerance, allergies, abusive antibiotics, and chemical drugs toxicity. And the external border is governing the wei qi, which is the shield, the external border, which is the skin. And invaders are coming from outside, like pollution. And when the lung qi is weakened, you can have repeated ear, nose, throat, sinus infection, which is decreased in immune defense. So the quality of digestion depends on 4 and 5 criteria, according to me. First, mastication will crush food into small pieces, easier to transform by digestive enzymes. 2, powerful digestive enzymes whose quality depends on our genes. That's a very important part of my presentation. Enzymes are functional proteins. Their structures are encoded in our DNA, compact in our chromosomes. Intestinal absorption of nutrients has a selective permeability. It means that intestinal mucosa will absorb small molecules of nutrients and expel big molecules of waste. And nutrients become our allies, and waste become our enemy. Complete degradation of food waste in large intestine. This is a selection filter which separates toxic waste which will eliminated through the stools and through the urines. And lastly, the intestinal flora. There is 2 types of flora inside the intestine. The fermentation flora, which destroy the vegetables, the cellulose in the vegetables. The fermentation flora act in acid pH. They live inside the right part of the colon, from the ascending colon, and the right part of the transversal colon. And the putrefaction flora is specialized in destroying proteins. They are acting in alkaline pH, and they reside in the left part of your digestive tract. So there is cooperation between these 2 types of flora, meaning they are specialized in destroying specific type of nutriment, of food. So spleen and kidneys are the foundation for the 4 substances production and storage. First, spleen works with stomach. They transform food into nutrients. They produce the 4 substances which will be stored inside the acquired vital essence, which means acquired gene. Kidney are the storage of the innate vital essence inherited from our parents during the embryo. This is the cauldron of life. And depletion of kidney and spleen's essence reserves maintain chronicity of inflammation. That's the very important point, because if you want to deal with inflammation and autoimmune disease, you must be careful to fulfill the gene of the spleen and of the kidney. The best way to improve the outcome of treating autoimmune diseases. Why? Because the 4 substances are our treasures of life, coming from the spleen, the acquired gene, and coming from a kidney, the innate gene. So, the spleen is producing acquired vital essence, and the kidney is storing the innate vital essence, the genes. Okay, so we have the enzymes which are coded in our chromosome, and the enzyme can destroy the food, and the kidney is related to our DNA, to our chromosome. It is the genetic part of immunity. Then, the acquired part of immunity is acquired after birth. This is the spleen, because the spleen is the expression of genes. It means digestion, absorption of nutrients. It calls epigenetic. Epigenetic is a new science which study the influence of the environment in the translation of genes, but it is not the subject of my presentation today. So the four substances are the foundation of the energetic immune systems for Chinese medicine. What do they do? Energy. Energy has four functions: warm, activation, warming, defense, astringence. It means containing, it means restricting, containing the blood and the body fluid inside the body. And the last, transformation. And blood, what is doing blood? Blood is nourishing the chi of the 5 internal organs, the muscles, the tendons, and the sensory organs. And the body fluid, what are they doing in chronic inflammation? They moisten and refresh the internal heat of the organs. They fight against fever. They lubricate the stools to support their expulsion. And jing is the last substances. These are vital essence from the kidney, which are innate, and the spleen, which is acquired. So, let's go on the other side of the bridge. The well-trained soldiers, the immune competent cells, are born in bone marrow, as you know. Who are they? What they do? The first class is polynuclear red blood cells. Neutrophil, basophil. Then basophil is secreting histamine, which is produced in case of allergy or hypersensitivity reaction. Eosinophil, which are specialized in destroying parasites. And the second part is the mononuclear white blood cells. Lymphocyte B become plasmocytes, which produce antibodies. Lymphocyte T, which are secreting inflammatory substances like lymphokine, and monocyte will become macrophage, which will eat up the invaders. And NKC, natural killer cells, which are lymphocytes born inside the bone marrow. They will migrate and get trained like good soldiers. They get trained and mature inside the thymus. They will become scavengers for killing cancer cells and foreign antigens. So, according to the Western medicine, the immune system is a complex, well-organized professional army, active and efficient on 5 levels. First, identification of the invaders like virus, bacteria, food allergens, environmental toxin. 2, destructions by NKC, natural killer cells and macrophage. They are secreting destructive enzymes and inflammatory molecules and free radicals. Third, communication of information. These are the CIA of our immune systems. There is information between lymphocyte B and lymphocyte T thanks to their cytokine, namely, everyone here, if you are specialized in cancer treatment, everyone, I don't know if there is a specialized cancer MD here, but in cancer treatment, we often talk about TNF, tumoral necrosis factor, interferon, and interleukin. Amplification of information, coordination between B lymphocyte and T lymphocytes. And there is 3 classes of lymphocytes: the helper, the T helper, the T suppressor, and the T regulators. And memorizing of antigen, the identity, and lymphocyte B and T membranes. One word about the membranes. Membranes are the interface of communication, communication is the database of molecules on the membrane. And it is very important to maintain the fluidity of the membrane of your cells with unsaturated fatty acids like omega-3 and omega-6. The membrane is the surface of communication. So if you want your cells to stay healthy, maintain the quality of the surface of communication of your membrane, of the membranes of your cells. And we come to the fourth issue, is the circulation network for the 3 immune energies and the 4 substances. They are the 12 main meridians. This is an energy network, like a cobweb is connecting the 12 main meridians, which will be divided into 6 energy levels of defense, which are the great meridians. They will oppose resistance to the penetration by the 6 climatic perverse energy, like wind, cold, dampness, scorching summer heat, drought, and toxic fire. In the Western medicine, the connecting network is the blood, because blood is the pathway for transportation and distribution of nutrients, of immunocompetent cells, of molecules of acute inflammation like cytokine, lymphokine, antioxidant vitamins and trace elements, oxygens, and carbon dioxide. So I will conclude my presentation on the immune system by the triple burner. The triple burner is a functional energetic highway for the 4 substances to circulate, the highway of immunity. There is 3 floors. The first floor is kidney and large intestine. The second floor is liver and gallbladder, the couple of spleen and stomach. And the first floor, there is heart and lungs. And the 3 immune energies and the 4 systems can circulate in the highway, where they can be transformed. The 4 systems are the chi, the blood, the body fluids, and the innate vital essence stored in the kidney, the quiet vital essence stored in the produced by the spleen. And the triple burner is very important for the circulation and purification of the body fluids, which are essentials for cooling the internal fire of chronic inflammation. Without liquid, without fluids correctly purified, we cannot win over the internal fire. So, the drainage and circulation of the 4 substances and elimination of toxins depends on the liver, and the liver works with the gallbladder. Drainage, dispersion, and distribution of chi, blood, and body fluids in the 5 organs. Liver is regarded as the general of the army, which controls the other organs' activity with orderly authority, discipline, and strategy. And the liver has a very good counselor, which is the gallbladder, as you know, in Chinese philosophy. The liver also drains the free flow circulation of emotions, which are refined form of energy, and liver energetic detoxification of waste inside the stools and biles. They are similar to the enzymatic detoxification of chemical drugs, allergens, and environmental poisons in Western medicine. So there is a connection of the liver. In the previous presentation, many doctors put the focus on the essential point, which is the liver. It's the same thing for me. So we can end up my presentation with the leadership. Strong leadership of the mind and the spirit. The heart, the emperor works with the liver, the general, the lungs, the prime minister. The spirit of the Chinese heart controls emotional balance, resilience, psychic sufferings. Besides being the master of blood and blood vessels, according to Chinese medicine, blood is the support of the mind and the spirit. Very frequently, in people exhausted by stress, immune disorders are often revealed by emotional conflict, resulting in an energetic imbalance between the liver wood and the spleen earth, leading to many chronic inflammatory pathology, such as leaky gut and autoimmune diseases. So, in Western medicine, the natural immune defenses is a physiological, biological, cellular war focused on the invaders, ending up with acute inflammation. Why? Because there is a releasing of millions specimens of inflammatory molecules like cytokine, prostaglandin, leukotrienes, interferon, and lymphokines. And the liver will increase, the Western liver, the liver in Western medicine, not the Chinese one. The liver will increase production of CRP you can dose it, and you can dose it in the biological test. CRP means C-reactive protein. They are very increased in acute inflammation. For example, if one of your patients end up with acute pyelonephritis, with high fever, with septicemia, the CRP went very high, and then you go for antibiotic treatment. People immunogen who is capable of healing the wounds and clog hemorrhage. Biochemical vasodilators, which will increase blood flow to the site of infection. And for cancer patients, the cancer doctors, the cancerologue, or often prescribe the VEGF, vessel epithelial growth factor, to emphasize the dilatation of the vessels and to bring chemotherapy inside the tumor. So damaged cells too will release toxic free radicals, because the more the cells will destroy, the more they will release free radicals, which are aggressive for the survival cells' DNA. So acute inflammation is a physiological war needed for our territory integrity, but it must be adapted and focused on destroying the invaders. It must be coordinated and coherent. The ultimate goal of acute inflammation is surrounding the site of conflict. It means the safety zone and limit extension of the battlefield. So a safe acute inflammation must be targeted and have short time duration. So the next question is, inflammation become chronic? When inflammation become chronic, it is a pathological war. When, why, and how inflammation become chronic? When there is a permanent state of alert, when there is invaders coming from outside and inside because of emotional stress and bad dietary habits. Why? Because there is a weakening of innate immune qi, which is yuan qi, because there is a weakening of adaptive immunity, which is yin qi, because there is depletion of storage of nutrients, vitamins, antioxidants, because there is oxidative stress, because there is a loss of coordination in the immune system. And how? That's it, the question. The leaky gut opened the doors of immunity to invaders, triggering production of autoantibodies. Autoimmune diseases is a pathological war against itself. When the immune system is overloaded with invaders, They don't make any difference between the allies, which are the nutrients, and the enemy, which are toxic waste. Let me talk a little bit about leaky gut, which is the open door for invaders. What is the root of leaky gut? Insufficient mastication, poor enzymatic digestion of food, which reduce intestinal absorption of nutrients, accumulation of food waste, which become allergens, antigenic identity are not completely destroyed. Chronic inflammation of intestinal lining mucosa is the result of accumulation of waste. Destruction and inflammation can destroy the tight junction, and then the intestinal lining becomes a strainer. It is the open doors for invaders. And when the invaders are coming inside the territory integrity, there is overstimulation of the immune defense system. There is loss of coordination of the immune system. The immune system doesn't recognize who is the ally, who is the enemy, and that's why the immune system produces antibodies, and that's why chronic inflammation and leaky gut are the main roots for autoimmune disease to appear. So, how can we repair the leaky gut with micronutrients? With first probiotic, second L-glutamine, third chlorophyll, fourth turmeric, curcuma, and fifth spirulina. So probiotics, what are they? Probiotics contain small bacteria pertaining to our intestinal flora. This is a symbiosis relationship between our colon and our cells. There is fermentation flora specialized in cellulose degradation found in vegetables waste. This flora dwell predominantly in the right colon. Fermentation is active in acid pH. Putrefaction flora is prevailing in the left colon, specialized in protein degradation, active in alkaline pH. L-glutamine, this is an amino acid. Glutamine is like a fuel, a feeding fuel for the fast, renewable, and growing enterocyte. Intestinal mucous lining is renewed every week like an inner skin. And chlorophyll is yin in nature. It is capable of absorbing food waste. It is antioxidant, it is anti-inflammatory, it is painkiller for Western medicine. But for the Chinese medicine, it can drain liver qi, it can cool blood, and it can remove blood stasis, it can detoxify the liver, and it is commonly prescribed by Chinese herbal practitioners. And spirulina is an alga growing in fresh water in mountain lake. It has many properties. I love spirulina because spirulina is antioxidant. It contains selenium, which is a cofactor of SOD, superoxide dismutase. It's not very important. And spirulina is containing 18 amino acids. Among them, there are 8 essential amino acids. And spirulina contains polyunsaturated fatty acid like omega-3. So what is chronic inflammation according to Chinese medicine? As you know, when there is stress, the liver qi becomes stagnated. There is a stagnation of the liver qi, which becomes chronic, and the liver qi stagnation under emotional stress pressure. I will compare the fire of liver qi stagnation to the fire of resentment, of frustration, like a forest fire. And when the general is en colère, when the general is angry, he can become the emperor, and the emperor is the fire of heart. The liver fire is the fire of anger and hatred. It can be transformed into the heart fire. And the heart fire is the fire of emotional passions and desires, resulting in exhaustion of yin, blood storage in the kidney, because there is a relationship between the heart and the kidney in the co-cycle. And it can end up with dryness of the body fluids too. And the result of these three fire, the fire of liver, the fire of heart, can end up with exhaustion of kidney Jing, which can lead to empty fire. It's like the fire smoldering on the ash. And the spleen Qi deficiency is a result of excessive domination from the liver, which will empty the quiet Jing according to the Ke cycle. The wood is dominating the earth. So chronic inflammation is the result of energetic imbalance between the 5 internal organs. It will end up with the 3 pathological fire: the liver, the fire of anger; the heart, the liver of patience; and the kidney, the fire smoldering under the ash. And will end up with 3 deficiency of the immune energy, which is Yuan Qi, produced by the kidney; Yin Qi, produced by the spleen; and Wei Qi, produced by the lungs. And exhaustion of the 2 vital essence, innate kidney Jing and acquired spleen Jing. It means that there is 3 fire, 3 deficiency, and at the end, exhaustion of the foundation of life, which is acquired Jing from the spleen and innate Jing from the kidney. So here is the summary. Yes. Chronic inflammation can become the energetic and nutritional terrain favorable terrain. I don't know if we can say terrain. I think the terrain is a French word for background. So the terrain favorable for autoimmune diseases to emerge is silent chronic inflammation. And the cause of silent chronic inflammation is the junk food, no mastication, leaky gut, the stress, which is the burnout, which is the candle of life burning from inside, and the pollution, liver toxicity overload. And silent chronic inflammation can open the door to autoimmune diseases, as well as Lyme disease, which is acquired immune deficiency. And the third one is the modern inflammatory diseases. It's not the main point for my presentation today. So the bridge. How can we do the bridge between chronic inflammation and autoimmune diseases then? There is... I have time. I still have time. I still have time, okay. So the stress burnout is the cause of chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation opens the door for antibodies. And the 5 organs internal fire is related to the mitochondrial oxidative stress. Depletion of kidney and spleen Jing is the depletion of antioxidant, and the cells grow and the cells low energy, and the weakening of Yuan Qi, Yin Qi, and Wei Qi is the deficiency of innate and acquired immunity. So, what are the essential points to remember here in my presentation? There is 4 roots of chronic inflammation, which is the terrain, the background for autoimmune disease to emerge. In Chinese medicine, there is pathological fire from the 5 organs, which are the fire emerging from free radicals in Western medicine, which is the oxidative stress in mitochondria. The loss of astringency of spleen Qi is the leaky gut in Western medicine. Exhaustion of vital essence storage of kidney and spleen is the shortage of antioxidant inside the mitochondria. And the liver Qi stagnation is opening the door to chronic inflammation like stress, burnout, and toxic emotion. I think that emotion are our worst enemy because you are not aware of that. And chronic inflammation, most of the time, the door of entry is our emotion. And in Western medicine, the liver, there is a toxic overload of the liver by chemical drugs, by virus, by alcohol, by junk food. So I would end up my presentation with the treatment. What do I do in chronic inflammation, and how do I deal with autoimmune diseases? There is a treatment and prevention of chronic inflammation and autoimmune disease in Chinese medicine first. This is the summary of my clinical experience every day. I do that in my clinical practice in Paris. I'm dealing with acupuncture, with micronutrition, and with Chinese herbal medicine. I specialize myself in phytotherapy, in Chinese herbs prescription. So I use acupuncture and Chinese herbs to drain the liver qi, liver 3, to clarify the fire of liver, the fire of heart, the fire of lungs, liver 2, heart 8, pericardium 8, lung 10, lung 11, and large intestine 4 and large intestine 11 to calm the mind. Pericardium, I shouldn't say pericardium 7. I would prefer pericardium 6 and heart 7. Clear the empty fire from the kidney 3, kidney 7. Tonify the spleen qi with the Ren 12, stomach 36, and 2 more 12. The governing vessels 12. I love this point too. And transform food stagnation in the stomach and harmonize the digestion with Ren number 13, stomach 21, and pericardium 6. Maintain balance between qi, blood, and body fluids with stomach 36, spleen 6, and liver 3. Clarify heat through the large intestine, through the stools, through the bladder, with urination and lungs, and through the perspiration. And most importantly, fill up the kidney and spleen vital essence reserve gene. Because in that case, Chinese medicinals are very powerful and effective. Tonify the yuan qi with Ren number 4, Ren number 6. Tonify the yin qi with Ren number 12, spleen 6, and stomach 36. And Wei qi, of course, lung number 7, and large intestine number 4. So, integration of Chinese and Western medicine from the Western side. What do I do? Tonify, detoxify the liver can improve the tolerance of chemical drugs. And I never forget to check the liver enzymes before I prescribe Chinese herbs. Test for transaminase, for PAL, and phosphatase alkaline, gamma GT enzyme. You can prescribe Western herbs like artichoke or curcuma. More mastication, supplement in digestive enzymes, repair the leaky gut, as I mentioned before, correct the diet. Less sugar, less bread, less pastry, less beef, less alcohol, and more fruits and vegetables, fish and poultry, more steam cooking, avoid grilled barbecue, increase PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acid like omega-3 and omega-6, olive oil, colza oil, drink at least 1.5 liters per day, regular physical and soft energetic exercise like Tai Chi or Qigong, nutritional antioxidant like vitamin B, C, D, and beta-carotene, which is the precursor of vitamin A, because vitamin A is toxic. You shouldn't prescribe vitamin A as a nutriment, but the beta-carotene is the precursor. And of course, the omega-3 and omega-6. The trace element like magnesium, selenium, copper, manganese, coenzyme Q10, L-carnitine and AC, and don't give too much iron, which can become pro-oxidant. And most importantly, when the patient suffers from chronic pain, inflammatory pain, especially when they have muscular cramps, you should treat the acidosis within the tissular acidosis with substances which will neutralize the iron H+, like citrate of potassium, magnesium, and calcium. So, how is the bridge? How do I do the bridge? I do the bridge because I try to work with my two brains. The right brain is Chinese medicine, and the left brain is the Western medicine. The right brain is, there is an error here. It's not sequential, it's global. The right brain is global, synthetic, symbolic, intuitive, visual. This is consciousness, insight, wisdom, philosophy, meditation, and creativity. And the left brain, what does it do? He is sequential, exactly the young part. The left brain is young, and the right brain is yin. The right brain is sequential, analytic, rational, logical, verbal. There is knowledge, science, action, and practical. So conclusion, where is the strength of integrative medicine between war and peace? Where is the right choice? Chinese medicine and Western medicine, first of all, are complementary. Powerful chemical drugs make war to the disease. In case of emergency, during acute inflammatory crisis, but their side effects are destructive on the long-term run for the patient. Chinese medicine is a slow-motion therapy, but it deals with the deeper aspect of the energetic, nutritional, emotional terrain or background of patients. It can build up peace after war, which will open the way for a long-standing remission on the battlefield, which can improve a better understanding and commitment for healing the illnesses in patients. So some words of wisdom. I will end up my presentation here with some word of wisdom. The best choice is energy. Balance between energy of the 5 organs and that of the cells, inducing this terrain of this background of peace, promote long-standing remission of autoimmune diseases in patient sufferers. And I would quote the Tai Chi master Chung Liang Ol Huang, who is practicing in California. I saw a very interesting video of him on the YouTube. And I like what he said, that when you integrate the opposite, you can gain power, balance, and coherence inside yourself. And another word from President Roosevelt, who quote, "People don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care." That is the bridge between passion for knowledge and compassion for human beings that doctor care for. And the last one will be my hero, Mahatma Gandhi quote, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world." I strongly believe that the bridge between medicine from the East and the medicine from the West will become one day the medicine for the future, especially for modern diseases. For a future, I do hope. Thank you for your kind attention. Any questions?
I want to thank Dr. Souvanlasy for her very interesting presentation. And do you have any questions?
Any question? Marc, do you have any question? You can talk in French.